Do you ever wish you could draw or color something this realistic, but you know that your hand is just not stable enough yet? I have a solution for you. I'm Lisa Mitrokin from It's Easy to Draw Art Academy, and today I will show you 5 drills to practice that will get your hand into shape to create something like this in no time. We'll practice these 5 drills on my 5 keys, starting from the easiest, designed for a very unstable hand, and leading up to the most challenging for when you've already mastered the first 4 methods. The first technique is called negative space drawing. There are many ways of approaching this particular look, but I always like to put an extra twist in it. Instead of just shading everything around our object with one designated color, we're going to make it look like it's on old parchment paper or a scroll. Very magical. So grab a dark brown pencil, any name, any brand, and start shading the way that I'm doing right now. Shade lightly, diffusing out into the blank of the page and coming in with more color closer to the object itself. This is an excellent exercise in shading, and notice that the shape is already forming itself on the page. We didn't even have to do any detail work. If you have a shaky hand, a poor grip, or get hand cramps like so many of us do, this is a brilliant technique for approaching small objects that feel too intricate for your hand at the moment. And I do mean at the moment, because your hand will get steadier, I promise. It's only a matter of time and practice. Oh, and by the way, this page is a free gift for everyone. My artisans over at It's Easy to Draw already have this as a free gift, along with a full-length recording of this project. But a gift is a gift, so those of you who don't even want to be a part of my community, you can just scan this QR code or grab the link in the video description and just get the download. This already looks gorgeous, but we can take it several steps further. I'm blending now with a yellowish sand color, again practicing my light shading technique and then going straight into another brown because I decided I want more reddish tones in my paper. I'm intentionally not calling out exact pencil names on this one because all of these techniques are designed to work with whatever tool you have laying around. The brand of pencils absolutely doesn't matter. I'm mixing wax and oil pencils on this one because I'm simply using my favorite colors. Want your brown background to be more chestnut like mine? Then bring in something like terracotta brown. As for the key itself, you may wish to leave it blank. That's a perfectly acceptable option and it looks very attractive. But if, like me, you like to push your effects to the max potential, you can add a little bit of light shading. Be very, very careful with this. We don't want to add a full range of detail to this key. It still needs to stay extremely pale to stand out against a dark background. Otherwise, it's not even negative space drawing. For a touch of gorgeous, delicious high contrast, I always like to come in with a little bit of black as well. This black pencil will also help you clean up your edges just a bit. Shading right up to the object is an excellent technique and much better than outlining. So this is another excellent option for those of you who aren't yet super steady with your drawing hand. Speaking of a steady hand, over at It's Easy to Draw Art Academy, my new course, A Steady Hand Masterclass, is finally available for free for everyone. Make sure to swing by and join it. So that was a key built almost entirely without precise lines. My second favorite technique is underpainting. And in this case, I'm using brush markers for the speediest underpainting effect possible. First, I primed the entire key with a very neutral beige. Then I roughly layered some dark gray. And finally, I achieved these beautiful watercolor-like effects with a nearly clear brush marker. This works with any brand of markers as long as they have that lighter end of the spectrum available for blending. If you want to use my exact markers, I dropped the link in the video description below as always. Don't like working with markers? You can replace this step with either watercolor itself or watercolor pencils. Both of those will speed things up for you dramatically as well. The 2 really cool things about this are it's super fast, and we're getting these beautiful, natural, marble-like effects, which we immediately proceed to fine-tune with a black pencil. Any brand goes. Add as much black as you want. But the real magic here happens with white. Come in with a white pencil. I highly recommend Prismacolor White for all white color pencil purposes, and use it as a blender. Look at the amazing color effect that immediately happens. All of a sudden, we no longer have black and white, but rather a full range of cool, nearly bluish grays. This is instant metal effects. For the cherry on top, I like to come in with a white gel pen. I'll drop a link to that in the video description as well. So many of you ask me for the exact white gel pens that I use, and it's been a struggle. A lot of white gel pens undermine me, but I finally settled on the brand that I like, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. 2 keys down, 3 to go, and notice that so far, both leaned on blending and shading rather than steady line work. Hold that thought, because it's about to matter more and more. Our third method is realism. And in this example, we'll make our key out of shiny gold or brass. With any yellow shiny metal, it's always safe to start with a single solid underlayer of something in the light orange family. I'm using yellow ochre in this example. As soon as you have a solid undertone, come in with your chestnut brown. Anything bright and reddish, and start building the 3D shape carved into this beautiful key. If you're interested in shiny metallic effects, or honestly any metallic effects whatsoever, you definitely want to take my Metallic Effects Masterclass. And guess what? If you're an artisan over at It's Easy to Draw, you already have access not just to this course, but to every single course I've ever released. And that's just the bonus. No more buying individual courses ever. You join once, you stay on a very easy payment plan, and you get access to absolutely everything. I am beyond thrilled to finally be able to deliver affordable art education to all. If you want your key extra saturated and vibrant, bring in another bright orange. And for the highest reflectiveness and polish, we always want to bring in black to our gold. And of course, for the final step, you guessed it, white highlights with a gel pen. We're moving left to right with these keys, and each new effect looks simpler than the last. But these are actually getting progressively more involved and more demanding. The simpler looking effects, ironically, are the trickier ones to pull off. Keep that in the back of your mind, because the final key, it's going to surprise you. For my next trick, I'm pulling out one of my favorite tools, and that's fine liners. I used to do all of my Inktober illustrations with these, a great deal of my coloring pages, and a lot of personal private doodles that I keep in my journal. A set of fine liners with a light gray, a mid-tone gray, and a black are the best. And if you can, get them with tip variation too. The black fine liner by itself is daunting and unruly, but getting a whole pack of different ones is the bee's knees. I'll drop a link to these babies in the video description as well. And for me, this method is the most fun because you basically get to doodle. Notice what I'm doing with this key. I'm vaguely suggesting outlines, not even bothering about my lines being perfectly straight, and then I freehand these wiggly, squiggly doodle lines, adding more of them to the areas that I want to be the darkest. And I use my super pale gray as a blender. I come in with my black for sharper outlines and even more darkness. This right here is the really trippy part. If you do mess up a line and it goes totally wavy and out of control on you with a black marker, don't try to fix it with the same marker. Come in with your sharpest, thinnest, lightest fine liner, very, very pale gray, and like magic, it just straightens that line right up. It shouldn't even be possible, yet it works. You have to feel this to believe it. You genuinely cannot mess this method up. If you cross a line, just add more pigment. As your shape changes, add something to it. And working with markers is one of the best practices for a steady hand because it forces you to glide on the page with a particular set speed. Also, there's no erasing, so whatever you put on the page stays there, and psychologically, that's very good training. So even if you never plan to draw with markers again, this exercise goes a long way for that fine muscle control. If, like me, you got completely carried away with black and your key is now nearly solid, you can always come in with your white gel pen and add a few highlights. A white gel pen is just your best friend on all metallic effects. And now for the final exercise. This one may seem underrated and painfully simple compared to the very first one we did, but it actually requires far more control and stability. This is the one I warned you about, and it's called line variation. For this exercise, I invite you to grab a color that's vibrant and strong. I'm using magenta. And I suggest an oil-based colored pencil over wax. If wax is all you have, that's fine too. I say oil only because they have a harder lead, and that means that they can keep a sharper tip for longer. You don't have to take it to the sharpener as often. Also, oil pencils don't smudge and smear as easily as wax pencils do. But again, use whatever you have. How is this different from outlining our gray fine liner in the previous exercise? Well, look at how my hand is moving. It's quite different, isn't it? With the marker pens, we move in continuous solid motions, and here I move in gentle strokes, building up my layers of color. This is the exercise for anyone who struggles with a steady hand. Grab a pale outline of any simple object, and that should be incredibly easy to come by. All of my coloring pages, for instance, are like that. Of course, not all of my coloring pages are simple, some of them are quite involved, but all of them have simple objects in them. My artisans already have free reign over my entire collection. That's thousands of coloring pages between my books and individual uploads. Grab any one of them and practice outlining individual elements like these. 10 to 15 minutes a day of this kind of outlining will get your hand noticeably more stable and steady within just a week or two. It's like magic. Notice that I'm also immediately introducing line variation. I challenge you to make your outer lines thicker. We achieve this line variation by adding more and more layers of line parallel to the line we already established, rather than pressing harder expecting a thicker outline. This is the same trick we use as tattoo artists. We don't always grab a needle that's the right thickness. Sometimes we make those thick lines by making many thin lines that are parallel to each other and are so close they're actually touching. That's the idea. It's the same exact thing with pencils. Practice these 5 exercises, starting with a negative space shading, leading all the way up to line variation. Now, I used each of the keys to demo each of the drills, but you don't have to work that way. Like I mentioned earlier, you have my entire collection of coloring pages to practice on if you're an artisan. Trace any image that's fun for you, and when you feel ready, you'll be able to color the keys in this manner. For more metallic effects, remember to visit my Metallic Effects Masterclass, which you've already unlocked as an artisan. And if you enjoyed these drills for a steady hand, check out 5 more on how to improve your drawing skills in general.